Hello, everybody.
Way to steal the spotlight, Jared.
Is this the second episode in a row this has happened? I think it is. Or it was episode 2. Anywho, welcome back, guys. We are on episode 4. Episode 4 of Trifecta Talks. I'm Brian.
I'm Brandon. And we lost half our viewership.
They're already gone. Who are you on the end there? Blonde with the headphones?
I said I'm Jared, and we lost half our viewership.
Oh, I didn't hear the I'm Jared part. Anyway.
Put your headphones in.
My laptop was not picking them up, so we're going headphoneless. Anywho, this episode we don't have as much.
It sounds like you're about to give a sponsorship.
This episode is sponsored by ExpressVPN.
This episode
Find out more in the middle of the episode.
We're sponsored by. I'm actually not going to show that. Because they're not giving us money, so why would I promote them? This episode we don't have as much to cover as previous episodes, but I still think it's going to make for a very fun episode. So shall we just get right into it?
You're going to tell them the agenda?
I like to do it as we go. So
okay.
Because I think that's how we've done it before. We didn't do a full breakdown.
You're not the host, Brandon. Brian gets to do it however he wants.
I'm taking over. This is my podcast.
Secretly, Brandon's like, he's not following the script. He's not doing it.
So if you would like me to, yes, we can cover the agenda real quick. So, we are going to cover game exclusives. So, stuff that was only on PlayStation, Xbox, whatnot. We are going to play a little game called Framed, which I'm very excited for. And then obviously our closer for every episode, what we're currently playing and what we would like to play. Mm-hmm. With that being said, we are going to kick off with our boot up for this episode. And that is our best / favorite narrative-driven games. Brandon, would you like to kick us off?
Ooh. I feel like you guys just like to bully me because you think I don't play these type of games.
Well, do you want me to start and then have Jared follow up?
Yeah, I really do not like to follow Brian.
I don't have.
Well, would you like to go then, Jared?
No, you go, Brandon.
Okay. All right.
I'll go. You're so prissy.
Jeez.
I just would I would like for everybody watching this to know that reaction he's doing is animated, but in real life, outside of this, he 100% does that whenever I say something stupid. Anytime.
Anyways, yeah, I'll go first. So there's so many to pick from just because I am a PlayStation owner. So a lot of their game library is mostly narrative-driven games. So I'd say some of my favorites. I didn't write any of them down because there's so many to pick from, but the ones that come off the top of my head are definitely the first being Last of Us. And I feel like that's a lot of people's favorite narrative-driven game. It's just a great story. I mean, Naughty Dog always seems to be putting out almost blockbuster feeling scripts with amazing cast, great music. It's just overall a cinematic experience, but for video games. So, I mean, it has a show. I mean, that's how great of a narrative it is, that it deserves a show and has a leading cast with Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. So, I mean, and some of them actually have, like, I know in the next season it's going to have, I forgot his name, but he was in the game too, and he's going to be playing the same character again. So that's cool. Other than that, it's probably that, and like Uncharted is probably another great narrative-driven game for me. That was probably like the first one I ever played when I first got my PlayStation. And that's just an amazing game from the action, again, the casting, and again, I think that's another Naughty Dog game. So it just feels like they've always like nailed it with those experiences in the narrative field. I think that's about it though, because majority of the Nintendo stuff that comes out isn't really that narrative driven. I'd even argue that Breath of the Wild isn't as much narrative driven as people think it is. I mean, it's a very loose story, but that's just Nintendo's like, motto. It's, Mario doesn't have a big story, and all the other characters don't really have big stories. They're games that anybody can hop in and out of easily. Um, probably, maybe it's a narrative, but maybe it's not. But I'm just gonna say it and see if it sticks to the wall with anyone else. But God of War, but specifically God of War Ragnarok, is a really beautiful story.
100%. I mean, I've never played it, but that 100% counts.
Yeah, I just feel like people. I guess my seeing of it is that it's really not. I mean, there's a narrative, obviously, but it's very beat 'em up for the most part. But I think people forget that there's a really great, touching story, especially in the not remakes, but continuation or reboot. I don't know soft reboot of the series that really just drives it home. So, kudos to the people, Santa Monica Studio, for really bringing our boy Kratos home.
Those are good picks. Would you like me to go next?
Sure. That way Brian doesn't top you.
I'm not. I don't have a whole lot to like go all in on. So you can go if you want, Jared.
All right. Well, I also love Last of Us and Uncharted, but those I figured Brandon was going to say those, and I figured Brian's probably a little, to Uncharted anyways. Brian's a little biased to Uncharted because I know you've played that, but I'm actually going to pick one. I don't think either of you are going to pick. I played this before I played Uncharted and before I played Last of Us, where those narrative games, Hollywood style narrative games really took off. I'm actually going to start with the pioneers of these kinds of games, and that's Telltale, and I'm going to say The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is the first game I played where it made me feel something on an emotional level. It felt like a true narrative experience with, you could say minimal gameplay, but it felt like at that time it didn't really matter. And the story was just so good that any compromises they made to gameplay, it was okay because you were so invested in Lee and Clementine's story. And just anything to do with that game, that first game in particular, is so masterfully done. Every character feels well written and well fleshed out. Every set piece feels so carefully calculated and thought through. Nothing feels shoehorned. Nothing feels lazy. Everything feels so tight and heavy. And I feel like that's exactly how it was intended to be. It's just such an emotional game for me. It's one that I cannot wait to play with my wife. She has not played it yet, but every time we talk about video games, I'm like, that's the one that always comes up. And I'm like, I'm really excited to go through that again. An amazing game. If I can pick another one, just as like a little honorable mention, The Wolf Among Us, also in the realm of Telltale, another amazing game. Unfortunately, they haven't done a season 2 yet. I know it was announced a while ago. I don't know where they're at. I think Telltale shut down, so I don't know. I think all their assets got sold off somewhere, and other people are developing their stuff, which sucks. But it happens in the industry, obviously, as we see these days. But yeah, Walking Dead, Wolf Among Us, 2 fantastic games. But I think, to me, if somebody was to put a gun to the head and say, what's the best one of all time, I would say Walking Dead. I would say Walking Dead beats Last of Us, Uncharted, anything that they've done. I think it beats them all. Just that first season. I feel like the later seasons kind of diminish what the first one was trying to do. I feel like there was just way too much going on where the first season, like I said, felt tight, heavy. Nothing was shoehorned. There was nothing lazy. It felt like we were just in a moment. Do you know what I mean? Like something was happening. And like it was seeing a shift in the industry where these games really took off into the mainstream. So that's my pick. Brad guy?
Nice.
So, I'm going to start off with branching off of your Telltale stuff because I also have a Telltale game in there.
I figured.
And
I know
yeah,
exactly what it is.
yeah, you know what it is. And I have said that it is my favorite story to a game ever, and I think it's because it's the last one that really made me feel something. I don't play a whole lot of story games, but this is the one that I always think of that legitimately made me like cry when the credits rolled because not only did I not want it to end, but it was so unexpectedly emotional, and that's Tales from the Borderlands. I think it's got the best story out of all of them, and it's one of, if not the most underrated Telltale game. It's not nearly talked about as much. People liked it enough to where it got a sequel. I haven't played the sequel yet. I've heard it's not great. So yeah,
Yeah,
like very
I've heard the
50-50.
same thing.
Yeah, new Tales from the Borderlands. At some point, just due to my love for the first one, I'd love to dig into that. It really made it gave the Borderlands universe a. I'm not saying that the other Borderlands games are not well written, but like they're not written to be like a full fledged like Academy Award winning like movie script. Like that's what they gave
Yeah.
Tales from the Borderlands. They gave a whole new level to Handsome Jack that we had never seen before, and it gave us whole new reasons to love him and hate him. And I won't go into specifics, but it's another reason that why Handsome Jack is also one of the best best video game villains ever, and I mentioned that in a previous episode. Highly recommend top to bottom. It's one of the best and most underrated narratives to a game or for any game you'll ever play. And also killer soundtrack, top to bottom. I have the whole soundtrack saved on Spotify. Somebody put it together, and I love it. Next one, Brandon, you mentioned him first. Uncharted, specifically Uncharted 2. That's a movie. We talk about like blockbuster things. Like Naughty Dog loves to make like blockbuster style games. Uncharted for me at times felt like I was playing like a Mission Impossible movie. That whole train sequence that goes for like 2 to 3 levels is
Oh yeah.
unreal. It's unreal, and you start off in it, and then it does flashbacks, and then you eventually it catches up throughout the game, and then you're back there. It up until now in terms of, and I played it more recently than Tales from the Borderlands, so I'll say in terms of recent memory, it's probably the best story I've played. But like I said, it's a blockbuster. You're playing out a movie. It's nuts. Haven't finished the whole series yet, so I can't say if I like 3 more because I remember liking 3 more, never finished it. I really want to play 4. I've heard 4 is very good. But one felt just like a carbon copy of Tomb Raider up until it wasn't. So I can definitely say 2 is for me. I like 2 a lot better than 1, but 2 is just like top to bottom, like a masterpiece. There's really nothing wrong with that one in terms of in my eyes. Now some other underrated ones I won't dig super into, are my favorite Star Wars story game. That's Force Unleashed. I love that one. It's a shame that it's not canon anymore. It hasn't been canon for years. I believe it used to be, but they just.
Oh, really?
I think it was, and then was it Kathleen Kennedy or something said basically every video game and novel that takes place outside of the main story doesn't count. It's not canon.
Right.
It's like a part of that like extra or expanded universe, I think it's called. So it's a real shame because that's such a killer story. The second one, meh, is what it is. But the first one is so good. It really, I think it kind of changed the game in terms of licensed like story games. I think around that time, I don't know if they were like plateauing or something, but I think it just like how do I put this? It added just it made people realize you can add a whole new extra level of like absurdity, action, drama to these already established licensed properties. Something like Star Wars, we already know it's big and grand and stuff like that. But what if we made it like a hack and slash, like Wolverine X-Men Origins-esque style game, but obviously, like I said, put it in the Star Wars universe. We never thought we would get that. We never thought we would get a character like that, and we did, and it killed. And we've gotten some ports, stuff like that for Switch, which I've heard are great. Have yet to touch on those, but Force Unleashed is another good one. One that's not really ever talked about in terms of its narrative, because it has the narrative takes a back seat to the actual like experience, but it has a narrative. And it's probably my favorite puzzle game of all time, and that's Unravel.
Oh yeah, that's a good pick,
Yes.
Bri. Yeah.
So because the backdrop to the game, first of all, the most beautiful puzzle game I've ever played. Beautiful soundtrack. The cutest little character I've ever played as in a game, Yarny. I love him. The whole narrative is you're going through this old woman's memories through her photos and trying to thread the memories together, because I think they never truly say, but I think she has like Alzheimer's or dementia or something like that, and you're trying to connect the memories again so then she can remember. And then it ends like I won't say it how it ends, but it's like that's pretty much the narrative there. But it's so beautiful. It's so beautifully done. It's such a beautiful game. Highly recommend it. It's actually still, I won't show it right now. Well, I don't really have a way of showing it, but I've had snippets. I think the backdrops for Unravel are so beautiful. I've had snippets from them as my background on Xbox for like over 10 years. So it was one on the Xbox One, and I got a brand new one for the Series X. And it's just like, you can make them a background on anything. Each level is just a painting. They're beautiful. And
you've been talking about that game for years.
Oh yeah.
4 years.
It's so. I always go to it as one of my favorite games ever. We haven't really had the opportunity to talk about it. Like we've talked about RPGs, we talked about FPS and stuff like that. Haven't really had the chance to bring up Unravel. Now I can, because I consider it a narrative-driven game. But I think that's it. I've tried thinking of like, oh no, wait, I lied. I have one more, because Brandon reminded me, because he was talking about PlayStation. Spider-Man 1 of the new franchise.
That story's pretty good. Yeah.
It's I love the whole retelling of Peter and that, and how you kickstart it where he's already been Spider-Man for like a year, I think, something like that, a year, 2 years. It's just such a fun game. We've already talked about Spider-Man in this podcast before. It's just such a fun, emotional game. Not much else to say. I should have had notes for this specific one. I thought I was going to tank through it like I have before, but I struggled a little bit, but we got there. But yeah, so
we did it.
We did it. We got there eventually.
We did it. I'd like to say though that you said about Force Awakens that there hasn't been a game like that with Star Wars before. Knights of the Old Republic came out before Force Awakens, so that's a big story. Yep.
Well, it's a big story, but is it like a hack and slash kind of?
No, it's an RPG. But I thought the point you were trying to make was we hadn't had like that level of story in the video game.
No, I should have worded that better. I understand. I know what you mean. That, and what was it, Knights of the Old Republic?
Some people would be like, Brian, hello.
There's big ones.
I haven't played them. I would like to play them. I haven't played
Knights of the Old Republic. Like you could say like Jedi Academy as well. Like those games are like solid. I'm not excluding those. I was just saying in terms of a new style brought to Star Wars, like licensed games, I'm not stirring the pot. If I did it, it's unintentional.
You stirred the pot the whole time you were talking.
It brought a whole new style of narrative-driven stuff to Star Wars. Yeah,
I did just think of two, because I was like, I know I'm missing something. I do this every time we start these boot ups. I'm always like, oh, that one. Mafia 2. It would kill me if I didn't mention Mafia 2 because that story is amazing and one of the best written narratives out there. I know I said Walking Dead, but I may have to completely contradict my answer,
Oh
and it might
no.
be Mafia 2 and Walking Dead.
Oh my
and
goodness.
then the other one is LA Noire. I don't know how I didn't mention that one either.
Didn't you brought up LA Noire in a previous episode too as one of your favorite games for whatever genre it was or something like that?
It was one of my favorite games of all time, and I never brought
Yes.
it up. I didn't bring it up this time for narrative stuff.
How did
and
you forget about that?
It happens every time we do the show. I'm always like, yep, it's the one or it's the two. It was the last time with LA Noire. But I mentioned it in the favorite music. And
Oh, okay.
Like, Persona 5 has a great
Yeah.
soundtrack. How can I think of that?
Yeah, now I
Tales
have
from the
another
Borderlands. Oh, what do you got?
Yeah.
A GTA game, but not 5, not
Can-
4,
Vice City?
not
Can
3.
I guess?
Vice
Can I
City?
guess?
Vice City?
I was gonna say it was Vice City.
No. San Andreas.
I was hoping you were going to say
I was gonna
Vice City,
throw a
Vice City.
curveball and say like Chinatown Wars. It's for like the DS.
Liberty City Stories. GTA 2.
No, San Andreas, just one, I played it a lot growing up, but I've recently actually played it fully through the story, and it's just God, it's such a throwback. Like, it's so in its time. Like, I know Vice City's in its time too, but there's something about that 2000s in the hood type of writing style, going from bottom to the top, and it's just awesome. It's a great story, and I think Vice City kind of has that same kind of vibe. Most of the games do, but something about San Andreas really is like a time capsule to me, and like going back to Grove Street is like a blast.
I have an interesting topic we could do one day. It doesn't have to be today. If we're talking narrative games, and I want you guys to think about this, who does it better? Rockstar or Naughty Dog? Who's better?
You're gonna have to get back to me on that.
You're gonna have to
I'm not saying we have to. I'm not saying we have to answer
I-
it today because I have an answer, and I was just thinking about it in my head. That's a good one.
I have games from both sides that I still have to play before I can really give a definitive answer. So at the
me
moment,
too.
I would be undecided. I have a feeling of which way I would lean, but
Putting a pin on this.
yes,
Yeah, that's a good.
for
that's a good
down
one.
for down the line, I would love to do that.
Also, the idea was pitched for best narrative, I immediately just went like point and click. I was like, yeah, Walking Dead. Like that's what I think of. When I think of like just strictly narrative driven games, that's what I think of. But as you guys were talking, I was like, ooh, Bully is my favorite game of all time, and I haven't mentioned that as one of my favorite stories. But do I love that game for the story, or do I like it for everything else? I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But yeah,
No, that makes sense. Cool.
go ahead, Bry Guy. What's our next?
Next up, we have game exclusives. So stuff exclusive to Xbox, PlayStation. Do we want to include stuff exclusive to PC as well? Because that's still a thing. Not everything. Not everything has been ported. And there's one game I will bring up. Excuse me. There's one game that I will.
God bless them.
There's one game I will bring up when the rounds make its way to me about of a game I'm very disappointed is not coming to console immediately. It's not coming out for another 2 years, but I found out about it recently. It looks sick. But so Brandon, you want to take it away again?
Sure. I mean, let's just look back in the past and see what console exclusives looked like throughout the years. Which was, I feel like from what I understand, and someone can point this out, I don't think it was highly talked about as much. I think it was a very much free for all, and people were making games just to make games. There was obviously we could start with at least Nintendo versus Sega, but I think a lot of the issues with the console exclusivity back then was that one was more powerful than the other, and it still is kind of like that today. But Sega had Sonic, and Sonic was on Nintendo, and Sega didn't have Mario, and Mario was on Nintendo, and that was really as far as what exclusivity went. Nobody had exclusive rights to certain studios yet, as there those conversations weren't happening yet. But that's not to say people were swaying to more consoles than usual. And I think that kind of started, I'd say, probably right around when PlayStation 1 came out. And the example I'm thinking of is Square Enix. Because if you think about it, a lot of the Final Fantasy games were very much on Nintendo. And very much supported by Nintendo and had a lot of fans on Nintendo. And when they decided to finally drop Nintendo for PlayStation to put their next big game on, the biggest console at the time, it kind of shook the world. And like, I think that was the real idea of like, people have to start picking their consoles now, because there's obviously a side now to where games are going to be only on this console because that's what the better console is, and that's what more developers are going to sway for. And from there, it just kind of divulged, I think, the one I think of next of like a buyout was Xbox buying, or Microsoft buying Rare, which was a huge deal. Da, 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 da.
Look at that.
Thanks, honey.
Wish we could have one.
Pass it through the webcam.
Oh, it tastes so good. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut it off, but I thought maybe that would be kind of cool for you to see.
Oh, it's really awesome.
Thanks,
Good job, Lid.
Love you.
So yeah, Microsoft buying Rare, I think, was like the next big thing I could think of when it came to a big gaming, or not gaming, a console buying a developer of sorts. And with that being said, I don't think it was and this I feel like starts the whole issue of today with Xbox, which we'll get I hopefully to later. But when they bought Rare, there were, funny enough, very rare amount of games that came out from Rare when it came to Xbox. And it was kind of a laughing stock, because it was like they were putting out more stuff and had more love with Nintendo, and to the point where Nintendo was offering their own properties to make games like Donkey Kong and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of odd to see the change happen, and also not to see characters like Banjo again, or Conker, or all those rare characters that were made so famous on Nintendo, and to just divulge into very obscure family games. But I think the one people remember them most for is when the Kinect came out, and they did a bunch of all the Kinect game, basically. I think they did the first one, Kinect Adventures, which is a fun game, but it's just unfortunate to see them go from a top level developer in the eyes of like today, of like Insomniac or Naughty Dog, to just, we're making games for when a new console comes out or something like that. And they still have them, and they don't do much these days anymore. I don't know what's become of them, or I know some of them are at Playtonic. Yeah.
Rare's currently doing Sea of Thieves.
Oh,
right, but
right.
That's a live service.
That's it. Yeah,
that's it.
That's it.
Right. And look how that game has progressed, because now you can get that on PlayStation. So it just goes to show, it's like, now we're getting into the conversation of like, well, what in this day of age, and I think this is due to a lot of things, and it's been talked about with the, just the failing market of video games recently, the downward spiral that games have been going down, and this idea of exclusivity is sort of drifting away, where Xbox is now putting some of their Xbox only games onto PlayStation and Switch. So like, for instance, Grounded is now on both PlayStation and Switch. You can play Sea of Thieves on PlayStation, and in February you can play the new Indiana Jones on PlayStation. So I mean, it's kind of, and I understand the reasoning behind this. I mean, I can't confirm it, but I'm sure there's some article that states the reason these companies do these buyouts, or I should say the reason these developers do agree to these buyouts, is because there's a cash flow. There's a guaranteed cash flow. There's a guaranteed budget. There's a guaranteed, that they will get the money to make the game and properly make the story that they want to develop. I can't promise the game is going to be great. I mean, we can talk about it all day with a game like, I Someone has to remind me the game. What was the game that Bethesda came out with recently? Starfield, which did not do the best in its first couple weeks. It took a while. It felt like a No Man's Sky issue. I think it's doing better now, but I remember people just knocking it for the NPCs and like, this is not a Bethesda game. Like, how can you actually put this out and call it a Bethesda game? And that could have also just been the problem behind also like people were very hyped up and waiting for Elder Scrolls. It's just stuff like that basically. But overall, I mean, it's so hard to talk about this topic in today's world where we are seeing a sort of shift in exclusivity. I mean, either it's on their day one or it's you have to wait a couple months. It's really, and it's also a hardware thing too because Switch is behind, but we do see developers try to put in the effort to get their games onto their consoles. And I don't even know if that's really an exclusivity thing. That's just more of we need more development time on such a thing. It's just more of a hardware limitation at that point. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Does anyone else want to add to that?
I think the idea of exclusives is just, to me, unless you're Nintendo, it's non-existent anywhere else unless you're Nintendo. There's a reason to own a Switch. There's a reason to own the next Nintendo console, whatever it's going to be called. I've said this to you guys before off show. I don't know if I said it on show. There is no reason to buy an Xbox or a PlayStation 5, in my view, because everything is on PC. That big PlayStation game eventually will come to PC. That's been the track record. There's maybe Astrobot won't. That's like the only one I'm like pretty jealous of. That's not on PC. But Last of Us is on PC. Spider-Man's on PC. God of War's on PC. Ghost of Tsushima's on PC. Uncharted's on PC. Not all the Uncharted's, but 4 and Lost Legacy are on there. Yeah, they're on there. So to me, there's really no incentive to have an Xbox or a PlayStation anymore. And I think Xbox shot themselves in the foot now with releasing the games the same day on Xbox and on PC. Now, as a PC player, I love it because I'm reaping all the benefits from that. But from a business perspective, I don't know. I feel like competition is great for the industry, and having Sony and PlayStation, like especially during the 360 PS3 years. I mean, competition was heating up, and everybody wanted to see who was going to come out on top. Now, the idea also too of tribalism is stupid, because why can't everybody just like video games and just want to play video games?
Very much so.
But on the other end, competition is really good for the industry. The industry needs competition with it in order to succeed, in my view. It's the same thing in any industry: movies, music, television, even in sports, even in in any form of media or competition is good in any occupation medium. And just the idea of why would I buy an Xbox when I can just buy Game Pass on PC? Why would I buy a PlayStation 5 if I could just play the same game that my buddies are already playing on PC and through crossplay? Like, it's all accessible and it's at the touch of a button. But at the same time, I feel like you kind of lose something in that too, which is why I think Nintendo is so successful, because they have kept that same, I don't know, business model. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. I mean, I'll let Brian speak in just a second, but like, remember the Wii days? The only Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort in particular, for me, those are experiences exclusive to the Wii. If that game came out in any other console in a completely hypothetical scenario, would it be the same? No.
Well, can I argue that point? Because you were talking about there's no point of a PS5 and Xbox, but in the case of how you're talking about with Wii, it's kind of like the best way to experience those PlayStation games are on PS5, because I think of the DualSense, where you use the triggers. Okay, go ahead.
You can use the PS5 controller on PC. Now I don't know if you
But
have all the
does it-
features of it on PC.
Right.
That I don't have that answer.
Right.
That
That's-
I don't know. I can understand
right.
that point. Yeah.
So that's what because obviously the idea of the Wii was like it was motion controls, and you can't obviously experience that. I mean, you can connect your Joy-Cons to a PC, but again, I don't know if you can actually use motion. It probably takes some coding, but
I don't know.
yeah. So, but I think that's like the incentive is that you played on the console. That it's like seeing a movie in IMAX. If they filmed a movie in IMAX, the incentive is to go to see it in IMAX. Like that's how I see it. So if they made it for a blank console, that's the reason. And honestly, Xbox doesn't have that incentive. It's just play it on Xbox or PC. I guess that's their incentive is that they have a Game Pass that crosses over into PC so that you can play it on the go if you have one of those devices that you can do so with. And you can do that with PlayStation 2 with the PlayStation Portal. So I think that's the thing. And so I think there is still that competition. The one thing I will say, and I'm sorry, Brian, that we haven't gotten to you.
I don't have a whole lot to say on it, so it's fine.
Oh, okay. I was just going to quickly say, I think just the whole, which I know I'm a PlayStation guy, and I know people are going to bash me because I'm a PlayStation guy, but I think Xbox's decisions recently to, buy out Bethesda, buy out Activision, and, this, that, and blank, and, God knows what's next. PlayStation does it too. I understand that. I understand that they buy out studios, but it just seems like with Xbox, it's been really big studios that haven't made games exclusive to their console. With PlayStation, it's studios that have made exclusive games for the console, but have also made games across other, like for instance, Naughty Dog, I think, or Insomniac, Sunset Overdrive. They were once a studio
that was an exclusive
over
to
into
Xbox.
Both.
Yeah,
right, and they went into both realms. They weren't, but they made a lot of exclusives to PlayStation way before they bought the rights to Naughty Dog. But with Xbox, it seems like you have Bethesda who has crossed over, beyond so many consoles on so many years, and the same for Activision, which has a bigger, huger catalog than Bethesda ever has. And just to buy them, but then to just say, but they'll be on other consoles is like a slap in the face, because it just feels like, because you got to also think too, when they do this, they also, and this is again from a business perspective, and I don't know like all the actual factoids behind this, but usually when people buy out these companies, even in the movie industry, you see a lot of people get cut, like a lot of people get fired because Xbox will supply the employees. But to that point, even though Xbox is supplying the employees from their game studios, we're also in this problem here, which PlayStation is kind of in this issue right now, where they've divvied up so much that they're not able to produce the amount of games that they're used to as an individual studio. Because in the past, you'd see, a game for everybody coming out throughout the year. And these days, you get like maybe 2 or 3 AAA games from PlayStation Game Studios or Xbox Game Studios. And it really like pulls back because it's a lot of people are tiptoeing and pulling people from other places, from other developers, because they're just able to do that. Nobody's stuck in one company. If they're not working on a game right now, they're going to pull them to work on another game. And that's just how it is, unfortunately. That's why you don't get to see another Last of Us Part 3 until God knows how long, until they're done with Spider-Man 2 or until they're done with Wolverine or so on and so forth. So it's like there is no – I think that's like my biggest issue, because it's not so much about what console they're on. It's more the business model, because if you're just taking people and pushing them to somewhere else while they're halfway through a game, but you think this game is more important, and then we find out later on that game really wasn't that important, it loses the integrity of everything. Which hasn't been an issue yet, but I feel like it's bound to happen at some point.
Well, Concord.
Yes, Concord. But I think
Concord's
that was a brand new studio, if I'm correct.
Oh, that might be true, but that's still under Sony, and Sony put, I think, $200 million behind it, and they lost. And it's just like, it's like, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. It's like, why not put that money towards, you're right, like the next Last of Us or something that is going to make money, but then it also goes back to an even bigger issue, is that not only are studios stretched so thin because the games cost too damn much to make now. If you look at some of these budgets, I mean, they're just insane. They're crazy, like too much money. But then also, I feel like nobody's wants to take chances. I feel like now we're seeing a lot of the same kinds of games being put out all the time. But then you have some diamonds in the rough that kind of start to come up into the middle, right? You have your Black Myth Wuhans, you have your Pal Worlds, but Pal World kind of borrows from other games, but it's still super successful. It's this kind of creeps up in the middle. You're like, oh,
yeah,
okay. You know what I mean?
That's the same for. I was just gonna say that's the same for Stellar Blade, and that game's not. I mean, it's exclusive to PlayStation, but the studio isn't exclusive to PlayStation. But that's also a game that they said that's coming to PC as well. But again, not exclusive in the way that PlayStation has claimed that studio as their own. But I wouldn't put it past me if they do claim it, because someone's gonna snatch it because the game was great. But and that game was in a long development. Actually, that has a story, that game, for as far as exclusivity goes, because again, it goes right back to the thing where I said with the budget, because they were in development hell for so long. I think that game started development back in 2016, and it was originally going to be on all consoles. And then PlayStation said, hey, I'll give you whatever X amount of money, get this ball rolling. And then I think we saw the first trailer in one of the state of plays back in like 2021 or something like that. And I don't know. I don't know how they make those decisions, because that was such a diamond in the rough game that borrows, near automata type gameplay. But still, it was a big, huge success, because we haven't had a near automata type game in such a long time. So I don't know. Again, it's like, this is a conversation that I think can go on forever and ever. And
it's such an interesting topic. I mean, we could talk about this for a long time, because I have so much more I would love to say about it, but Bry Guy has yet to say a word in this whole conversation.
Sorry, Brian.
In terms of console exclusivity, I don't have a whole lot to say, because it's never really like, it affected me like once, and that was because I wanted to play Spider-Man, so I had to buy a PS4 to play it. But in terms of like what I want to play and what drew me into play, I always bounce back and forth. So like my first ever console was a Nintendo console. It was the Game Boy Advance, and I mean at the time I didn't even know what console exclusivity was, so I didn't really like. I don't even know how old I was. But then I get a PS2. Still not like, I'm not playing like the console exclusive ones. Like at that time, like I wasn't playing like, I don't know, gosh, like Ratchet and Clank, wasn't playing like Sly Cooper, wasn't playing, was it Shadow of the Colossus, I think was a exclusive as well. Wasn't really playing any of those. I was playing a lot of licensed titles and stuff like that. And then you go over to Xbox, then that's when I started playing the exclusives. I was playing a lot of Halo, playing a lot of Forza, which are both still not exclusives anymore technically, because now you can play those on PC, like through through Microsoft's Game Pass and whatnot. And also, I think they just sell them through Steam as well. So
they do.
Yeah. So it's never really affected me. Like I said, Spider-Man was the one that made me go out of my way to buy something, and I'm glad I did. But I think until now, we've kind of trashed on Xbox a bit. But I like Xbox. I think for me, in terms of everything, and Jared, you'll probably, as a PC player, you'll probably disagree. But in terms of everything that's offered, PlayStation, PC, Xbox is always, regardless of the console they're going to come out with, because I'm like, through all these generations, they've always delivered on familiarity and like comfort in a way. So they always like, they're never like, in terms of how their console runs, that's always improving. I don't think that's ever gonna be an issue. They always run really well. In terms of the hardware, I think it'll always match up to a PlayStation, or at least like like push PlayStation to like do better in terms of a PC. I mean, you could build a PC to launch a spaceship. Like like PC, you can't argue with PC. It's literally just based on how you build it. But Xbox and PlayStation, it's how you get it. And for me, Xbox is always like offered. You kind of know what to expect at this point with an Xbox. With PlayStation, they're always changing something, and it's always typically the controllers. They're always like they're offering something new with that. I think that's one of the best ways for them to divert themselves from Xbox in terms of like if console exclusives aren't that important anymore, how else can we bring people over? And that haptic feedback thing is one of the biggest things they could have ever done. And even with that little like a touchpad on the middle of the PS4, like even that was like pretty innovative. Xbox, you're always just gonna get the pretty like basic controller. Brandon, you can argue with me if you want. I think Xbox has consistently had the best controller in the game.
I agree.
And I'm gonna say this too. I think the Series X's controller is the best one they've made. I think it has the best of both worlds in terms of 360. You can even say the original. The original's big and bulky.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. The triggers.
The triggers and the little bit of rough like I don't know why you want to say like on the backs of the like pads there. Yes, right there. That is such a small little addition, but it adds so much to just how it feels. I think the Xbox One controller was very good. I didn't like it as much as the 360 one. But just that little addition and the triggers, like that just makes it the best as of right now, the best AAA like controller in the game. If anybody's making like any third party brands are making like because these third party brands will make stuff that like if you like Xbox controllers but you're a PlayStation guy, we'll make a controller that like plays like it feels like an Xbox One, but now you can use it on PlayStation, stuff like that. Like I don't really count that like because it's not what the company of the console is delivering on game day launch. It's whatever they have. So for me, in terms of games, it's never really the one time with PlayStation, it swayed me one way or the other, but I never really look at that. I always just look at just how it runs initially, but also, like I said, the familiarity and how like the comfort as well. And one other thing too is portability. I think that's another big thing as well. Switch obviously is leading that one to no end. It's not even close with that. But Xbox I think has really improved with their two consoles they got going now, the Series X and the Series S. Both Series S is much more portable than the X, but the X I still think you can bring it anywhere. And still have it generally work.
PlayStation is close. I mean, that Portal thing, I don't think they market it as well as they should, but the way it works is that you can be at any place as long as you have Wi-Fi connected to the Portal, you can play any game.
But that requires you to also have, as I say, that requires you to have a PS5 already, doesn't it?
Not anymore, right? Didn't they just release something that said that you didn't need to have a PS5 anymore in order to do that? You just had to have an account?
That's new to me.
There's rumors. So, no, not with this one, but there's rumors that they're building one that is you don't need Wi-Fi, and all you need is a PlayStation account, and you can buy games that way. But that's just a rumor. I won't confirm.
Okay, I see. Okay. Jesus, Jared, you turn on the sun?
Sorry, is that really that bright? That's hilarious.
It really is. It's just showed like your whole white tan.
You look like Oppenheimer.
Oh, that's hilarious. God. Oh my god. Sorry, I was looking up that article because Brandon's right. I thought it was a Sony already has the PlayStation Portal, which just recently got added functionality in the form of cloud streaming.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But that's cloud streaming. Like that doesn't like it doesn't have to be downloaded to your console. That's what that means.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you don't have to have the PlayStation 5 anymore to do that, right? No, you don't. Nope. Just you need to have the Portal, an account, And PS Plus. I guess that's the only
Oh.
incentive. You still need to buy their
There you go.
service. I guess
Oh.
that's the thing.
Yeah, well, that
I
makes
see.
sense. I mean, you got to use their
Yeah.
servers to download it. There you go, then. So,
Well, look at that. Xbox, step it up. I would love something portable with
well, they
them.
do. You can use your phone. You just have to have a good phone or a laptop. That's
Yeah, the laptop. Okay.
Through cloud stream, it's the same thing.
yeah.
Or just
But
everybody
they-
sign up for PC Game Pass, and then you have them all right there anyway. So they,
Right. But again, and that's also a price thing. It's like PlayStation Portal 300, PC. It's a higher end, so it's like I don't know. It's like Brian said. It's a comfort thing. It's like you know what you're getting into. You don't have to spend time building out a PC, and if you're a beginner, and if you want to just play games to play games, you know what I mean. You can get a pre-built, but then you have to, if you want to upgrade, you got to upgrade.
fork it up. Fork up that money, dude. I just think that the idea of like console exclusivity, you know what I mean? Like I said before, other than Nintendo, I think is gone. I think there's just no
the idea
buy a console other than the idea of just being able to plug
Right.
it in and have it working.
Right.
That
And the
to me is the only incentive.
Yeah.
Other than Nintendo.
Right. And honestly, the concept of console war is kind of just dead in the water now. It's really not a thing anymore.
No.
And if people want to argue that there is to some extent a console war, it's not nearly as like intense and toxic as it used to be. It used to be literally like Xbox had their stuff, PlayStation had their stuff, and then they were button heads, and PC was kind of just chilling in the back, and then Nintendo was just doing whatever Nintendo wants to do. They were going to make money regardless. So, because they bought out Sega, that's how they beat them, right? Essentially, they kind of just have their stuff now. So they
don't.
I don't
oh
know.
they didn't buy Sega.
There was a contract deal
Mm.
at one point to
They
have
didn't buy
like
'em
the
out.
first.
Oh.
Yeah, they didn't buy them out. Sega's still thriving on all consoles to
Oh,
this day.
gotcha.
No, Nintendo just forced them to not make consoles anymore, and so didn't
That's
Sony and Microsoft.
crazy.
They all forced them to just not make another one
They
anymore. That's
bullied
it.
them. That's what console wars
Literally.
need. That's what the console wars needed. They just
Literally,
needed to bully each other.
They needed Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo to just bully all the little guys and just say, "Get out of here."
Exactly. So then
And
they could
that's
start
it.
making their own stuff, and then after they bullied, they all made up, except for Nintendo. Nintendo's still doing their own thing
Well, Nintendo's working with Microsoft currently, and I think
in a
And
way.
Sony,
and Sony's work. Oh yeah, Horizon.
Lego
That's right.
Lego Horizon, and MLB The
that's
Show.
true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So really,
And then
we
Microsoft
can
is just
easily
like, here,
say-
everybody have our stuff. We're gonna buy Bethesda, but anyway, here's Indiana Jones. It's
So does
so
that mean?
silly.
Oh,
that
that's
you?
Brian.
me.
That's
No,
Brian.
he's got blonde
Yeah, 'cause
hair.
Brian has blonde hair.
Yeah, that's his alter ego.
Brian.
Yeah, anti-Brian.
Hello. Love you.
What was it? I was
Um,
gonna say. So I don't know if we want to end it on this note, but I would end it on this note that Nintendo has won the console war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean-
Basically, they still have their stuff. Nobody's they haven't sent brothership to PlayStation, so
Oh my God! Imagine that day
I think I
My
remember
lord.
reading an article. The plan was
when
if the
Zelda
Switch
comes
failed-
out on like a Xbox or something.
I think
Oh
the
my
plan was
God.
like if it ever failed, that Nintendo would have sided with Xbox.
really, that doesn't surprise
Yeah.
me.
Like they would have became a developer for Xbox and made Mario on Xbox, which is so
That's such a crazy
Bizarre to me.
thought. But at this point, I don't think, at least for a very long time, we're never going to see that. Nintendo's still going to make their own stuff. Yeah.
there was a teensy rumor that I remember reading somewhere that like they wanted to push like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild onto PC, but that was like that didn't happen. But I mean,
Please.
you never know.
Please.
if their Joy-Cons can work on PC, I don't see why it could one day happen.
My brain would melt. Like, I literally would crumble if Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom were ported to PC, like an
Oh my
official
Lord.
Nintendo licensed port,
Yeah.
That'd
and
be
not just
nuts.
a effing emulator. I almost just dropped an F bomb. Not just an emulator.
Good save.
Oh my god, that would
That'd be
melt my
insane.
brain. Oh my god.
There's your thumbnail right there, Brandon.
Oh,
Yes, thank you,
I ended
Jared.
up getting divorced.
Jeez.
Alrighty then.
So
with that-
anyway, I
exclusives. Final thoughts.
think. Does anybody else have anything to say in terms of like game exclusives, console wars? I've kind of said my due diligence. I don't have much of a opinion on it. It doesn't bother
I just
me.
wanna-
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm indifferent. If you have a niche, you have a niche. If you have a console, you have a console. Whether or not, I mean, we're in a world where it's gonna be somewhere. You have the ability to play it somewhere.
Right, exactly.
One day there will be a day where there won't be any such thing as exclusivities, and people will just play to
Right.
play.
Right, exactly. Like currently, like I like all. I mean, I love Xbox, but I love all consoles to an extent equally. I currently have a Series X, a Switch, a PS4, and a PS2 hooked up to my TV right now. So like, I have no reason. I play each one based on just what I'm feeling, not in terms of what game I want to play. I guess like in terms of just what I'm feeling. Like Xbox is always just going to be my go-to, but I like all of them for different reasons, but they don't really, it doesn't necessarily come down to the games that are exclusive to them.
I just think it loses, at least in some way, and maybe some people would disagree, and that's fine. I think in some way, though, it loses a little bit of magic. I feel like, I don't know, I guess like, okay, a prime example, and then maybe we'll move on to our final segment, but a prime example to me is like, we talked about it the other day, or a couple weeks ago, whatever. We talked about E3 and like Sony's big one where they had like Resident Evil 7. Now that's not exclusive, mind you, but the VR version was exclusive to PlayStation. Just one. But that same show, we had God of War, which at the time was exclusive. Spider-Man was also shown off. So like this, like, oh my God, I have to own it. I have to have a PlayStation, or for Xbox with Halo and Gears, I have to have an Xbox.
Oh, Gears. I forgot about Gears.
Yeah, you have to have it. You don't. But with Nintendo, if you want to play Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, you have to have a Nintendo Switch. So it's like, well, I'm Breath of the Wild you can play on Wii U, but I feel like most people would just go to the Switch version anyways. But you get what I'm saying, like, you have to have that console in order to play that specific kind of game, where anywhere else you don't. And I feel like it loses that a little bit. It's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like, okay, it's like a sports thing, right? I know tribalism is stupid, but there is this bit of sense of like wearing a Red Sox hat and going to a Red Sox game. There is like wearing a New Jersey Devils jersey, Brian, and then going to a Devils game. There's a sense of there. Buying a Mario game, playing it on a Nintendo console. Comfort. Brian mentioned comfort earlier. Playing Halo on an Xbox. Uncharted, Last of Us on a PlayStation. There's something there for sure. But all of that gets lost now. And what it essentially is a consumer-friendly way of approaching it. It's like, well, everybody can play it. Like you guys said. You're right. You're 100% right. Makes it so much easier to play whatever you want to play. I just feel like in some ways it loses something in that. That's it.
I will say though, the weirdest one I think is the most dumbest exclusivity. I don't even play the game, and hopefully somebody will agree out there, but the dumbest exclusive thing that PlayStation ever did was MLB The Show. That was the dumbest contract exclusivity thing no sports game.
You think that's dumb?
That they made that. No. I'm not talking to people who from a business perspective, sure, but you just made sports exclusive to one console. That's like today where you have to watch Thursday Night Football on Amazon. It's like you're making baseball only available to PlayStation users.
I understand that argument. I could see that. Especially now with like streams,
I'm sure people got hyped on the next MLB The Show. I'm just saying for the people that enjoyed baseball and only had an Xbox could only play MLB The Show, the only MLB officially licensed game on PlayStation.
I understand.
Well, that's not necessarily true because 2K Sports had a baseball game up until 2012, 2013. So that's not technically true until the PS4 days, PS4, Xbox One. Then that's true. Until later in the
well, that's the year I'm talking about. Whatever year that happened, that like you had to have a PS4 to play baseball.
That's the point I'm making. Like that, there's something in that. Like everybody rallies together and goes, "Yeah, dude, we're gonna."
No, that's fine. Fine.
I think that with any game, like, oh, we're all gonna get together, we're all gonna play Halo on our Xboxes. There's something to be said about that.
No, I'm sure, but something as basic as baseball being exclusive, like baseball, we're making baseball. That's like saying like
who made wasn't it Santa Monica Studios?
Yes. I'm just saying. In that context,
there's a point to be made with both sides. I get the point. It's just baseball. What are we making that exclusive for? It's like, well, people want to buy a PlayStation. And
I'm just saying, like, listen, they must have had to do some kind of survey to find out that, like, dang, we have a lot of baseball people on PlayStation. We should give them a baseball game. like, there had to have been some data that supported that. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there might have been.
That franchise was exclusive to PlayStation. That particular MLB franchise was particular. Well, it didn't start off as the show. It started off as just MLB in the PS1 days, and it was brought to PS2. I think it was like 2007. Then it turned into the show. But at that time, there was still more than one option. Actually, at that time, there was three. There's three options. I don't know how to count to three. There's three options. It was MLB or MVP baseball, MLB The Show, and 2K. And there might have been something else, but I think those were the big three. So at that time, yeah, it's like, well, there's three different ones. So what's the deal? Right?
I guess.
But then you get to the PS3, and then the baseball games on Xbox aren't that good. But then over here on Sony's little console, hey, we have baseball. Baseball is America's pastime. Come over here and play with us over here on PlayStation. I could argue the same point for like Mario Sports Mix on the Nintendo Wii. That's dumb. Why would they make that exclusive?
That's Mario.
Nintendo?
That's like if they did PlayStation All Stars with baseball.
MLB had Derek Jeter at the time. All right, so like what
they did Nicktoons MLB. So
yeah, that's true. But that was also on Xbox and PlayStation.
No, I know it was. No, what I'm saying is like the difference between Mario Sports Mix or whatever you want to call it is like they're using their characters in the game. They're not using like you're saying that Derek Jeter's a PlayStation All-Star now. He's gonna be in the next.
I'm saying Derek Jeter's a Hall of Famer, dude, and the only way to play as him in his full glory was MLB The Show on PlayStation. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but I'm just like, if they ever did PlayStation All Stars 2 and you see Ratchet and like Derek Jeter walks up to Ratchet, it's just like,
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
That's what I'm saying.
I never put that together, but that is absolutely effing hilarious to even think that could be
that exclusivity has ended because isn't the show on Xbox now?
Yes,
it's on Xbox and Switch.
So I was gonna say, imagine the discourse now if they dropped college football on only Xbox. After that, after years of hyping it up, and then all of a sudden it just
college football's only on console.
Oh yeah,
that makes no sense in that context. Which completely contradicts the whole point I've been trying to make this show.
Well, they it's not okay. So yes, it's not on PC, but they have branched into like when it came out, they branched into like PC. You have to do stuff on PC for certain things to put them into the game. So like you have to go on the computer to like make your custom logos and stuff like that, and then like port them over.
Can I drop one F-bomb this show? Because I'm going to use it on Brian right now.
All right, go ahead.
Then why not just put it on PC at that point? It makes no...
Because that they
1
just
hour,
wanted
5 minutes.
they just wanted to make the PC audience angry. Oh look, we got our stuff on console. What do you have, Madden?
I should not have brought this up. I'm so sorry.
This is a great conversation, and I hope people are going to look at this conversation two ways. They're going to look at it. Hold on, they're going to look at it and go, "Oh, that's really good." Like, "Oh, they had good points." They're going to look at it and be like, "This Jared guy's a freaking idiot, dude. Like, what is he talking about?"
Well, dude, I just like how we sounded like we were pretty agreeant, but then I bring up MLB The Show and we're goes ham up in
MLB
here.
and college football, and that really sent us over the edge.
It's so annoying. Or the fact that Sony decided, hey, let's bring over Uncharted 4 and let's bring over Lost Legacy to PC. Where's the first 3 games?
Well, technically, those first 3 games didn't have a PS5 re-release. That's why. I'm just saying. That's why they did it.
Let's move on to our final thing, because my brain is going to explode tonight. Tonight's going to be
actually,
the night where my brain explodes.
technically speaking, you can play them games. You can get PS Plus on your PC.
What?
You didn't know that? You can get PS Plus on PC. Do you think I'm lying?
We'll be right back.
Does this change everything?
No,
we'll be right back. You're right here.
Oh my god, this is a real thing.
I just changed Jared's world forever.
Download the PlayStation Plus app?
Yes.
So is it through cloud? Or do you stream?
Yes.
Oh, wait. And stream PlayStation Plus games on your PC. Okay. All right, let's move on to our final topic of the evening.
And also,
that's
one more thing. You can do the share play feature. I don't know what they call it, but you can, same thing with the Portal. You can copy your screen of your PlayStation 5, and I know it's not the same way. You have to have a PlayStation 5 still, but
just put it on Steam at that point. I mean, you got these companies are jumping through every loop and hole instead of just being like, hey, let's charge 60 bones to put it on PC. I mean, the likelihood people are going to buy it at 60 bones is pretty slim if they've already played it on the effing console. You're really making this hard for me not to drop more F-bombs tonight.
Did you drop another one? What time was that?
No, I didn't. I did not.
Oh, okay.
I was being respectful to you, our editor of the show, to not drop another F-bomb.
All right. Well, this was great.
We had a nice. We were having such a nice civil conversation.
It still is civil. It's just infuriating. Things can be civil and infuriating at the same time.
Stir the pot.
Let's. Let's go to our final topic, Brian.
All right. So our final topic.
Well, actually, I have to lead this one.
You do have to lead this one, but I will drop it off to you for a third time.
Brandon, what's going on with your screen, guy? Is that right over there?
What do you mean?
I don't know. It looked a little pixelated over there. You doing okay?
He's still there. He's doing all right. I think it's just a connection thing. Might just be a connection thing. So anyway.
Subtle jab. Yeah, that's how we lose every single subscriber that we have.
That's how we do it.
That face that you just made everybody go, you know what? I'd rather go watch something else.
I'm going to go watch the now defunct Smosh Games. So...
they're going to see this and they're going to make us do a partnership video or something.
Hey, we saw your guys' last video. Would you like to do something with us?
Please and thank you. So
All right, Brian.
our last topic before we move on to our closer is Brandon. You brought up a cool idea that you saw in a TikTok for us to play, and
Did.
it is called Framed. Now I know about a Framed where it's done with movies and TV. I did not know that they do something like this with video games. So if you would like to take this away, I'm very excited for this.
Sure. But first, I will say I will give props to Co-op 64. They're a great podcast. You should check them out. I don't know them personally, but they're the ones that came up with this game and where I got the game from. So kudos to them. We're going to try it out on our end, and it's going to be a battle between Jared and Brian. So basically, the way it's going to work is I'm going to show a screenshot. I have like 30 to go through, so we'll be here for a good time,
Oh
for a good
my
while. It should be a good time though. Hopefully you guys get them. The only thing is so the rules are that you can only ask me yes or no questions. So if you have to have questions, ask about it. I will say yes or no, and then from there you could pick whoever wants. So I'll keep score. I'll keep score between you two, and we'll see who ends up the winner.
Jared's gonna sweep. I have a feeling.
You never know. I put some really weird ones in there.
Brandon was kind of giving me a little bit of a taste before we started, and I have no idea how this is gonna go.
All right, are you guys ready? I'm about to share my screen for the first one.
Let's do it. Let it rip, dude.
Let it rip, tater chip.
Hey, that's a Flaherty line. You better stop stealing my stuff, dude.
Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Pikmin?
A Bug's Life, PS1.
Yes, it is. It is Bug's Life for PS1.
Oh my god.
How'd you know?
I've played that game before. And I can tell by the graphics. That's hilarious that was your first one. That's so funny. All right, go ahead.
All right,
next.
Ready? Next.
Oh, should we be keeping score?
I am.
Okay.
All right.
Is it a PS1 game?
Yes.
Is it Harry Potter?
No.
Resident Evil?
Close.
Resident Evil 2.
Yes.
I'll
give you both the point.
Okay.
You were so close, Brian. I felt the coming out when you were first saying it. All right, here we go. And bam.
Oh, what the hell is that?
Is it a PlayStation exclusive?
Nope. Yeah, no, it wasn't. But it wasn't exclusive to something.
Is it a Nintendo game?
Yes.
Is it an older Animal Crossing?
No.
Oh.
No, that's not Animal Crossing. It's a Nintendo game? Oh my god. GameCube?
Yes.
GameCube? Sunshine? Mario Sunshine?
No. You want a hint?
Sure.
Yeah.
Third party.
Billy Hatcher?
No.
Third party?
Third.
To the GameCube?
You want another hint?
Yeah.
The developer is TDK.
Rye, do you have anything on this one?
I was thinking maybe like a weird Earthbound game, but no. TD.
So remember, it's third party.
Yeah.
Want another hint?
Sure.
Movie. Wow, do I really, guys, have you stumped?
I don't know.
Yeah, this one's...
I don't know. A Shrek game? Is it a Shrek game? Is it like
What is it?
Shrek 2?
Is it that party
No.
game? That Shrek party
No.
game? Is it the Super
No.
Slam?
No. So it was on Xbox before, but they re-released it on GameCube under a different title. What was the title?
What?
I don't know.
I'll give you the point, Jared. It is Shrek. It's Shrek Extra Large, though.
I would
would've
never
gotten
have
that.
gotten that.
All right, ready? Bam.
Is it a Disney game?
Kinda, but
Is it the
not
Polar
yet.
Express?
No.
Not yet.
Not yet? You
What?
said not
What do you
yet?
mean not yet? Hey, what the hell does that mean? Not yet.
The property wasn't yet.
What? Is it? Is it a star? Is it like Star? Or no, I don't know what the hell is this, Brian? I mean, I don't.
I don't know. I'm...
All right, give us a hint. What? All right. PS2.
Yes, it was on multiple consoles.
Atlantis?
No.
No.
Oh.
You said
hint?
not yet. It's not a Disney thing yet.
It is now a Disney thing, but before it wasn't.
I don't know. Give us another hint.
It's got a rockin' song.
That
The game or the
Doesn't help.
property? Oh, no,
What's
yeah,
that?
that's the thing. Did the property have a rocking song?
No, this game had a rocking song.
and it's now owned by Disney.
Yes, not the game, but the property. The characters.
Is it Winnie the Pooh? Is it a Winnie
No.
the Pooh thing?
No.
No, they've always been owned by Disney. Brian, I
Any
have
other
no
hint?
idea what this is.
Give me another hint.
I don't know how much to say before giving away. It's a it's a Mario Party clone.
Oh, is it Muppets Party Cruise?
It is.
Is it really?
Yeah. I thought it would give it away with the font style of the six, but
I would have never gotten that. I don't even know who that's supposed to. Who's that supposed to be?
that's one of the pigs from that pig party game where like you change the numbers to count the pigs in
So-
the room.
I have to pause this for a minute. So why don't you guys talk about the games that you're currently playing in the midst of this, or talk about? I'll be right
Muppets
back.
Party Cruise.
Talk about my I'll be right back.
What was I gonna say? Oh,
Muppets Party Cruise is like the
Muppets
best party game out there, hands down.
it's absolutely ridiculous, but I love it. I love the brief time we played it.
Ugh.
You know what I just bought recently, like before it went off sale from the Black Friday
What's
sales?
that?
Finally got Cyberpunk, so I'm really excited to try that one.
Oh yay!
Yeah, you know what I was trying to do is
I can never find the PlayStation 5 version. I used to have a
on
problem
disc,
finding.
really?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's now I can find it now probably, but when it first came out on PS5, it
Yeah.
was so difficult to find.
Oh, I'm sure. I had been trying to download it. So I know PlayStation's app, like on your phone, you can buy and download games through that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that through Xbox. I thought you could.
Oh,
You can
not through the Xbox app?
No, so what you can do is you can download and delete games you already have. You can go through your whole library and everything, but you can search games, but you can't buy them. So I was trying to buy Cyberpunk while I was out on what night was it? Wednesday. It was Wednesday. It was the day before Thanksgiving. I was over at Dance Place and I was trying to buy it, and it lets you download. Like, I don't even know. It says I could download Cyberpunk, but I have no idea what it meant. It just said, "Oh, you can install this." I'm like, "What do you mean I can install it? I don't even have it. It doesn't give me the option to buy it." So I get home. I'm like, I'm just gonna buy it. I thought I had was it that night? It had to be that night. I definitely didn't buy it on Thanksgiving. I just went home and I just bought the base version. I was thinking about getting the one with Phantom Liberty.
Mm-hmm.
That was like $47, but the base game was like 25, and I'm like, just based on how I play story games, I'm gonna hold off on Phantom Liberty for now and just get the base one. And it was the first time I'd ever seen that game, at least in my time of having a Series X, I've seen it drop below like $60 or even like 70. I think they have it up at upwards of 70 on the Xbox and PS5. First time I'd ever seen it drop below that, unless it's the physical copy, but like GameStop's always going to be selling it for only like $5 less for the pre-owned ones, so it's like not even worth getting like the physical copy, unless you want unless you want to like actually physically have it, which there's very few games that I want like that. Like when it came to Cyberpunk, I didn't even care. I just wanted I know it runs well now. They fixed it fully. It's a great game now. So I just wanted it. So I dropped just the $25 and called it a day. So I have that fully downloaded, ready to go whenever I start playing casual games again.
Yeah. I'm currently playing Ghost of Tsushima. I finally got back into it.
Oh, nice.
Finished Act 2. I'm on to Act 3. I think it's the last part. So I'm addicted to that again.
Nice.
But I was talking about physical and digital. I just do digital for Switch stuff. And then I would do everything physical for PS5 because I have the disc version.
Oh, there you go.
So yeah.
I for for Xbox, I only
Did you like that?
We couldn't see anything. We just saw you hop on the bed, and then that was it. Just
keep things interesting.
I guess so. Anyways, you ready?
Yeah, we're good now. Sometimes being a dad, duty calls. All right, so this was Muppets Party
Cruise.
All right, let's keep going.
Great game. If you haven't played it, play it.
Oh, so fun. Especially drinking some alcohol and doing it on a stream like we did. It was really fun.
Pepe off the perk.
It's got tunnel vision.
I was just saying, isn't that what happened at Tunnel? Oh, I know this one. Guitar Hero Aerosmith.
Yes.
Jesus.
5-1.
And the one was a tie, so like, what did I say?
Hilarious. Stop zooming in on his face.
Why? You don't like it? All the again.
Dream on.
All right. This was great. I had to do this one just because the screenshot was incredible.
Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes. Great job.
We know who the real gamer is in this crew.
Sorry, I played a
Hey.
lot of Ford Mustang on PS2 growing up.
You played a lot of Nicktoons United, you pansy.
Wow. All right.
Attack
coming
of
up
the Toy
next.
Bots? I think not.
All right. And
Assassin's Creed 3?
no.
Yeah.
Fable 2.
No.
Uncharted 2?
No.
Last of Us?
No.
Give us a hint.
On the topic of exclusives. Not that we talked about it specifically, but it is an exclusive.
Gears
To a
of
console.
War?
No.
No.
It's an exclusive. Bayonetta.
No.
Is it Nintendo?
No.
Sony?
Yes.
Is it a Crash Bandicoot?
No.
Last Guardian.
No.
Shadow of the Colossus?
No.
Eco.
No.
Is it, shoot. Hold on.
The Order.
What's that?
The Order something 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 on
No.
PS4.
Oh, The Order,
None of that.
1886. Is it, I can't remember the name of it now. It's probably not gonna be
Killzone.
it. Yes, that's what I was
No.
thinking.
No.
Oh,
No.
It's exclusive to PlayStation.
Is it what?
Is it Demon Souls? Or is it Bloodborne?
There you go.
Okay, there we go. I did think, yeah.
Next time we'll just have Brian pick the photos.
I'll never forget this day.
Okay. Hold your britches.
I never get to have anything over Brian.
Legend of
Today's
Zelda,
the day.
Ocarina of Time?
No.
Ugh.
Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks?
No.
Is it a Zelda game?
No.
Is it a Nintendo
Is
game?
it Donkey Kong Country?
No. Brian, what'd you say?
Is it a Nintendo exclusive?
No. Well, no. No, it's not. No.
Is it Crash Bandicoot?
Yes! You did it!
Oh,
Look at that. Look at that. Finally,
7-2.
back on the board.
It's anybody's game still.
Crazier things have happened. Boy. Is it
Dark Souls?
No.
Jedi Fallen
God of
Order?
War.
No. Jared, one more time?
God of War.
No.
This one's Shadow of the Colossus.
No.
Is it a PlayStation exclusive?
No.
Xbox exclusive.
No.
Nintendo.
No. Let me
I
know
have
what
no
Nintendo game looks like this.
I don't know. Stranger things have happened, I guess.
Is it Soul Calibur?
No.
Is it on Xbox 360?
No.
PS4?
It's on current gen.
Generation Zero.
I don't know. Current gen? Jesus. Remnant. It looks like the game Remnant.
Do you want a hint?
Sure.
Bandai.
Lies of P?
No.
Bandai Namco.
Did they
Is it
make
Dark
Tekken?
Souls?
No.
It's not Tekken.
Sekiro or
Sekiro,
No,
Shadows
it's not
Die
Shadows
Twice.
Die Twice. No.
Man,
Really? You guys
Hold
are
on.
like just...
Did they? Hold on. They didn't do XCOM, did they?
No,
No.
it's not XCOM, Brian.
That's Ubisoft.
Oh,
no,
well,
XCOM's
yeah,
2K, you goober.
Oh.
Ugh.
You want another hint?
I don't know. Yeah, sure. Oh, is it Nier?
No.
Stellar Blade.
They've been... No. Ready?
Mhm.
Very topical.
What? Very topical?
What? What does it even mean?
Was it a Game Awards nominee?
Uh-huh.
Is it Dark Myth or whatever it's called?
No, it's
No.
Elden Ring, Shadow of the E-Tree.
Well, it's Elden Ring, but yes.
Yeah.
What was the one? Did I even get the name of that right? Hold on.
No, you didn't.
Black
what
Myth
was-
Wuhan.
Wuhan, yeah, Wuhan. Dark.
Or Wuhan.
Black Myth Wukong. That's what it was. Okay.
All right. You ready for the next one?
Yeah. Elden Scrolls Oblivion. Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
I love the Elden Rolls.
Elden Rolls.
No.
Is it an Elder Scrolls game?
No.
Fable.
Yes.
Ah.
Fable 2.
No, you got... Calm down. I said yes.
He wants
Jesus.
bonus points so bad because it's gonna be so close by the end of it.
All right. Ready? Go.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone on PS1.
Yes. Yes.
Jesus. Dude, look at those sick Air Force Ones he's wearing right there.
Oh, SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Oh, I
Wow.
can see it. Yeah. Friggin' Squidward's house right there.
Brad's a bit pedoed.
Brian's gonna text me later. I can't believe you freaking beat
Hold
me
on,
with
wait,
that.
no, you keep that right there. Hold on, wait 1 second. I'm gonna show you something.
Oh, here we go. I don't know what he's gonna do.
I don't know either.
Welcome to Unpredictability Hour by Brian Dangler.
Look what I got, Jared. Ooh, look what I got. Look what I got. Look at this one on PC. Bastard. Guess what? I can just plop right into my Xbox and play right now if I wanted to. You can't do that. Bastard.
I do have a Series S, Brian, so I could technically play it.
But can your Series S, can you take a disc and put it in that? I don't think you can.
No, but I can take the disc and turn that sideways and shove it up your rectum.
I'll still have it.
Hold on, guys. Be right back.
Oh boy.
Oh, he leaves right as I.
Oh damn. Jared, I just wanted to say I've been wanting to do that for like half an hour. No, that has been that long since we talked about college football, but like ever since it was brought up, but that was like the perfect moment for me to do it.
I just wanted to be like nana nana poo poo.
All right, guys. We gotta wrap up real quick. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. So we could just call it a win?
No, we'll just do 2 more and then call it.
Okay.
Oh,
These both are worth 50 points. That's Unravel.
I'll just do 1 more. Okay.
Last
Wind
of
Waker?
Us.
No. PlayStation exclusive though.
Uncharted 4.
No.
Heavy Rain.
Oh.
Yes, you got it.
Oh,
Did I
that's
really?
good. Yeah, that's good. Come on,
You
give us
got
one more. Give us just one more. Give us a little taste of another one.
We'll continue in the next episode.
Oh man! Just as Brian starts to heat up a little bit.
All right, we'll quickly go through and talk about what we're playing.
What we've been playing. I mean, I'll start because I haven't. You guys know I haven't played much. I had to unfortunately set gaming aside just to just work on some other other side projects and stuff like that, and I'm started going to the gym, so that's working on myself over here. But I'm gonna start picking it back up soon because I was telling Brandon earlier. Why are you laughing?
Because it's the way that you say said, and I
Anna,
started going to the gym.
get ripped, boy.
Thought I should throw that out there.
Shake and everything.
So
but I was telling Brandon,
animated.
I officially bought Cyberpunk, so I'm really I'm itching to play it. I'm itching to
So
play
did
it.
I.
Oh,
so
did you?
I.
Look at that. I didn't get the Liberty or the Phantom Liberty one though.
Neither did I. I just bought the base one too.
Because I was telling Brandon, I just on my track record of playing and finishing story games, I'm better off just getting the base game for now and then just worrying about that later. But yeah, I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped to play it.
I've played about an hour.
Oh.
Yeah, because these Black Friday sales are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I played it for about an hour, and it runs great on PC, except for the fact that it sounds like my PC is going to take off into space.
I'm very curious to see how it's going to run on the Series X. I mean, it's fixed now, so I'm sure the Series X is going to handle it like a champ.
It's going to run hot. I think no matter what you're going to do, it's going to run hot. Now, I have the settings I have it tweaked so where it's not going to run as crazy, but when it turns on, it's like, it's going. It's working this PC.
I think since I don't know if maybe Jared, you'll probably have a better idea of this. Brandon too, honestly. In terms of the TV you have playing a console, the Series X can go up to 4K. I'm not playing off a 4K TV. Is it going to make the Series X run as hard if it's not displaying it in 4K?
No, it's going to make it run a little bit better. The lower the resolution, the better the game's going to run.
Okay, yeah, because I've had the same 1080p one for, I don't know, 5 years now, something like that. So that's what I just play everything off of. So
in theory, it should run smoother.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I have no obviously I bought it, so I have no worries about in terms of how it's gonna run now. But I'm glad to hear it's running good. At least I'm PC, so I'm sure it'll run just as fine on Xbox. Because I think
so fun
from console to PC. I'm sure they slightly not downgrade the optimization, but I'm sure it's a different in terms of processing. I'm sure it's different going from one to the other.
Yeah. Brandon, what are you playing? I'll go last.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Hey.
Heyo.
I really want to go and play that. Is that it? Is that all you have?
That's all I got. Sorry, I don't want to run too far.
I'm
getting kicked out.
All right, so I'll make it quick. Cyberpunk, played about an hour, like I said. Black Friday sale on Steam. Steam's autumn sale is incredible. Also been playing a lot of Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. That's been really fun. And then on Humble Bundle, they have a wonderful Black Friday sale going on, which you both should check out, where they have, for $10, they have a ton of Disney games, which included a couple Lego games. It had Star Wars, more specifically The Force Unleashed. It also had a couple older Star Wars games, including Knights of the Old Republic and Knights of the Old Republic 2. So I'm really excited to play those. But besides though, it's the primary one has been COD still playing COD. Double XP weekend. It's been a ton of fun. Boom.
Nice. Sick. Boom. Maybe I'll whip this bad boy out and play it sometime.
You're not gonna play it. You're gonna be like, I actually go to the gym now, so I don't have time for you.
F you, buddy.
I don't have time for video games because you know what? I work out.
Thank you,
End
everybody,
it,
for
Brian.
watching. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure to join the Discord. Subscribe. Somewhere. Oh. Perfect. Oh gosh.
Margot Robbie wants you to join the Discord as well. So if you could please do that, please.
Thank you,
Hit that
Margot.
notification bell, and so that way you are notified when videos happen. And hit the subscribe button while you're at it.
Have a good night. Have a good day. We will see you on episode 5.
Bye-bye.